Face your fears. Unlock the power within you. Fear is a universal experience. It doesn't discriminate. It whispers in all our ears. The question is not whether fear exists, it does, but whether we let it control us or use it to propel us forward. Today, I want to share 5 practical steps to face your fears, conquer them, and transform your life. Acknowledge your fear. Don't run from it. Fear has a way of growing when we avoid it. Think of it like a shadow. It seems bigger in the dark. But when you shine a light on it, you realize it's not as overwhelming as it seemed. Take a moment to identify what you're afraid of. Is it failure, rejection, uncertainty? By naming your fear, you begin to strip it of its power. For instance, if you're afraid of public speaking, admit it to yourself. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Understand that fear often masks opportunity. Life's greatest rewards are often on the other side of fear. The promotion you want might require you to speak up in meetings. The relationship you desire might require vulnerability. Fear is a signpost, not a roadblock. If you learn to see fear as an indicator of where growth is waiting, you'll find courage to step into it. You remember the first time you tried something new like riding a bike. It was terrifying, but once you pushed through, the freedom was exhilarating. Take small, intentional steps. You don't conquer a mountain one leap, you climb it step by step. Facing fear works the same way. Start small. If you're afraid of failure, set a goal that stretches you just a little outside your comfort zone. Maybe it's speaking up in a small group rather than a large crowd. Each small victory builds your confidence. Over time, what once felt insurmountable becomes manageable. Reframe fear as a teacher. Fear often teaches us what matters most. It's there because something is at stake. When you feel fear, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Maybe it's highlighting a skill you need to develop or a belief you need to challenge. For example, the fear of rejection may teach you the value of self-acceptance. By reframing fear as a guide, you can learn from it instead of being paralyzed by it. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Fear thrives in perfectionism. It whispers, what if I'm not good enough? But here's the truth, progress matters more than perfection. Celebrate each step you take, no matter how small. If you make a mistake, learn from it, adjust, and keep moving forward. Life rewards those who act, not those who wait for perfect conditions. Fear is not your enemy, it's a compass pointing toward growth. By facing your fears, you unlock doors to opportunities, build resilience, and discover your true potential. Life begins where fear ends, so take that first step today. Your future self will thank you. Fear, at its core, is not the problem. It's our reaction to fear, how we choose to deal with it, that determines its power over us. Fear thrives in avoidance, growing larger and more intimidating every time we run from it. When we refuse to face it, fear becomes a bully dictating the limits of our potential. But here's the truth, fear loses its grip the moment we acknowledge it. Acknowledging your fear doesn't mean giving into it, it means recognizing it for what it is, a natural human response to the unknown or to situations where the stakes feel high. Think of fear as an internal alarm system. It's not there to paralyze you, it's there to alert you to something important. Instead of running from the sound of the alarm, lean into it. Pause, listen, and understand what it's trying to tell you. For example, let's say you're afraid of speaking in front of others. The fear might stem from a desire to avoid embarrassment, rejection, or failure. When you acknowledge this fear, you begin to see it clearly. You can say, yes, I'm afraid of this because it feels risky, but it's not impossible. By naming the fear, by calling it out, you start to strip it of its mystique. Fear thrives in ambiguity, but clarity is its kryptonite. Consider this, fear often magnifies our perception of danger, making it seem larger than it really is. If you've ever been afraid to open an email or make an uncomfortable phone call, you probably know this feeling. Yet when you finally take the leap, you realize the situation wasn't as bad as you imagined. That's because fear feeds on anticipation, not reality. By confronting it, you bring it into the light where it shrinks into something more manageable. Another critical aspect of acknowledging fear is self-compassion. Many people beat themselves up for feeling afraid, seeing it as a sign of weakness. But fear is not a flaw, it's a feature of being human. Everyone experiences fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of fear, it's the willingness to face it. The next time fear arises, instead of trying to escape or suppress it, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Why does this fear exist? What's the worst that could realistically happen? Acknowledgement is the foundation of courage. Once you name your fear and accept it as part of your journey, you can begin to move forward. You don't need to eliminate fear to take action. You just need to recognize it and refuse to let it hold you back. Fear has a strange way of disguising itself. At first glance, it feels like a barrier, a warning to stop, retreat, or turn back. But if you take a closer look, fear often masks the very opportunities that can lead to personal growth, achievement, and fulfillment. It acts as a signpost pointing directly toward areas where your potential is waiting to be unlocked. Think about some of the biggest milestones in your life. Chances are they were preceded by moments of hesitation or fear. The first day at a new job, starting a business, or pursuing a meaningful relationship likely brought with it a sense of uncertainty or even dread. That's because fear arises when you're about to step out of your comfort zone. And what lies beyond that zone? Opportunity. Let's consider a simple example, asking for a promotion. You might hesitate because fear tells you, what if they say no? What if I'm not good enough? But what's the real risk? If they say no, you remain where you are, but if they say yes, you step into an opportunity to grow, lead, and achieve more. In this scenario, fear is a signal that the stakes are high and the potential reward is significant. Fear is like a shadow. It only exists because something real and substantial is creating it. When you feel fear, it often means that what lies ahead is important. It's an opportunity to test your limits, prove your abilities, or pursue something meaningful. If you avoid it, you might miss out on life's most rewarding experiences. One of the reasons fear masks opportunity is because it forces us to confront uncertainty. Humans naturally crave predictability, and stepping into the unknown can feel overwhelming. But uncertainty is where growth happens. Imagine a trapeze artist swinging high above the ground. To reach the next bar, they must let go of the one they're holding. That brief moment of uncertainty, when they're suspended in midair, is the only way they can progress. Fear can also mask opportunity by magnifying the what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? But consider this, what if you succeed? What if the fear you're feeling is not a sign to stop, but a call to rise? History is full of people who faced fear and found greatness on the other side. You think of inventors, entrepreneurs, and artists. They didn't wait for fear to disappear. They acted in spite of it. Another powerful example is fear in relationships. Vulnerability, sharing your true thoughts and feelings, can be terrifying. Fear tells you, what if they reject me? But the opportunity hidden behind that fear is the chance for genuine connection and love. If you let fear dictate your actions, you miss the opportunity to experience relationships in their fullest, most authentic form. The key to understanding fear as an indicator of opportunity is to reframe your mindset. Instead of asking, what might I lose, ask, what could I gain? Instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, see it as a green light urging you forward. Fear doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It often means you're exactly where you need to be. Lean into it, and you'll find that the opportunities waiting on the other side are far greater than the temporary discomfort of facing your fear. When you embrace this truth, fear transforms from an obstacle into a guide, showing you where your greatest potential lies. When faced with fear, many people believe they must overcome it all at once, like scaling a massive mountain in a single bound. This mindset can feel overwhelming, often leading to paralysis. The truth is, conquering fear doesn't require one grand, heroic leap. Instead, it's about taking small, intentional steps that gradually build confidence and momentum. Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain, staring up at its towering peak. The sheer height and steepness might make you think, I can't possibly make it to the top. But what if you focused only on taking the first step? Then the next, one step at a time, the climb becomes manageable, and before you know it, you're higher than you ever thought possible. This principle applies to fear. Let's take the fear of public speaking as an example. If the idea of standing in front of a large audience terrifies you, diving headfirst into a packed auditorium might feel impossible. Instead, start small. Practice in front of a mirror, then with a trusted friend or family member. Once that feels manageable, speak in a small group or a team meeting. Each small step reduces the intensity of the fear and builds your confidence. The beauty of small, intentional steps is that they allow you to face your fears in a controlled, gradual way. These steps act as practice runs, helping you gain familiarity with the situations that once felt overwhelming. Over time, what seemed terrifying becomes routine, and fear gives way to competence. Another advantage of this approach is that it creates a sense of progress. Fear often makes us feel stuck, as if we're incapable of moving forward. But taking even the smallest action disrupts this feeling of stagnation. Each step, no matter how small, is a win, a reminder that you're capable of moving forward even when fear is present. Consider the fear of starting a new business or pursuing a big goal. The end result may seem daunting. What if I fail? What if I don't know enough? Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, break it down. Start by researching your idea, talking to someone in the field, or drafting a simple plan. Each small action builds momentum, and as you take these steps, your fear begins to lose its grip. Small, intentional steps also allow you to reframe fear as something temporary. Fear tends to feel larger than life when viewed as a whole. But when you break it down into smaller parts, it becomes less intimidating. For instance, instead of thinking, I have to overcome my fear of flying forever, think, I'll just focus on getting through this one flight. Taking small steps doesn't mean you're avoiding fear. It means you're confronting it in a way that feels manageable. This approach empowers you to face your fears without becoming overwhelmed by them. Finally, small steps allow for adjustment and learning along the way. You're not locked into one massive action that could feel like an all-or-nothing gamble. Instead, you can assess and adapt with each step, ensuring you're moving in the right direction while learning to navigate the fear. Overcoming fear is not about perfection or speed. It's about persistence. It's about taking one step, then another and another. Each step reinforces your resilience, expands your comfort zone, and brings you closer to your goal. Remember, fear may not disappear overnight, but as you continue to move forward, it will lose its power, leaving you stronger and more confident with each step you take. Fear is often seen as an enemy, something to fight, suppress, or run away from. But what if you changed your perspective? What if fear wasn't the enemy, but a guide, a teacher showing you where to grow, what to address, and how to evolve? When you reframe fear as a teacher, it becomes less of a barrier and more of a tool for transformation. Let's begin by understanding the nature of fear. Fear arises because something important is at stake: our reputation, our relationships, our safety, or our dreams. It's not meaningless. It's there to protect us or prepare us. The key is learning to interpret its message. Instead of reacting to fear with avoidance or panic, pause and ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? For example, if you're afraid of failure, fear might be pointing out areas where preparation or skill development is needed. If you fear public speaking, it could be teaching you the importance of clear communication or revealing a hidden desire to be respected. Rather than seeing fear as a roadblock, view it as feedback, an opportunity to learn more about yourself and what you value. One of the most profound lessons fear teaches us is self-awareness. Fear acts as a mirror reflecting our vulnerabilities, insecurities, and areas of growth. Suppose you feel anxious about starting a new project. Instead of letting the fear stop you, dig deeper. Is it because you feel underqualified? Fear might be teaching you to build confidence in your skills or seek additional knowledge. The self-awareness is the foundation for personal and professional growth. Fear also teaches resilience. Every time you face your fear, no matter how small the action, you build strength. Consider the fear of rejection. It's uncomfortable, but it teaches you to detach your self-worth from others' opinions. Each no becomes a stepping stone, showing you that rejection isn't fatal, it's a part of life. Over time, you learn that you can survive and even thrive despite setbacks. Another valuable lesson fear teaches is adaptability. Fear often arises when we're stepping into the unknown. It's natural to fear uncertainty, but that very uncertainty holds the potential for innovation and discovery. For instance, think about people who've changed careers or started new ventures later in life. Their fear of failure or uncertainty didn't stop them. It taught them to adapt, learn, and embrace new possibilities. Fear can also reveal what truly matters to you. If you fear losing a job, it might teach you how much financial security or career fulfillment means to you. If you fear losing a relationship, it might highlight the value of love, connection, or communication. By paying attention to your fears, you gain clarity about your priorities, helping you align your actions with what you genuinely care about. Reframing fear as a teacher doesn't mean you'll enjoy the experience of fear. It's uncomfortable, that's a given. But discomfort is a necessary part of growth. Think about exercising a muscle. The strain and soreness aren't pleasant, but they're signs that growth is happening. Similarly, fear signals that you're stretching beyond your current limits, stepping into new territory where growth awaits. To put this into practice, develop a habit of curiosity whenever fear arises. Instead of saying, "I'm scared, so I'll avoid this," try asking, "What can I learn from this fear? What skill, mindset, or belief do I need to develop to move forward?" Journaling about your fears can help you uncover their deeper lessons. When you reframe fear as a teacher, you shift from a mindset of avoidance to one of empowerment. Fear no longer controls you, it becomes a partner in your journey of growth. The next time fear knocks at your door, don't slam it shut. Invite it in, ask it what it's here to teach you, and then use its lessons to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. Perfectionism is one of fear's most loyal companions. It whispers, "What if it's not good enough? What if I make a mistake?" This mindset keeps us paralyzed, constantly chasing an impossible standard. But here's the truth: progress, not perfection, is what truly moves us forward. The journey to overcoming fear and achieving success is built on small victories and incremental growth, not flawless execution. When you shift your focus to progress, you free yourself from the burden of needing everything to be perfect. Think of a child learning to walk. They don't master it in a single day. They wobble, stumble, and fall countless times. Yet with each step, no matter how small, they move closer to their goal. The same principle applies to life. Every small step you take in the face of fear deserves to be celebrated because each one brings you closer to conquering it. Imagine you're afraid of starting your own business. The perfect scenario might be waiting until you have all the answers, the perfect plan, and guaranteed success. But that day will never come. Instead, progress might look like researching your market, drafting a business idea, or sharing your concept with a trusted friend. These actions may feel small, but they represent meaningful movement. Celebrating progress doesn't mean ignoring mistakes or setbacks. It means recognizing them as part of the process. Fear often magnifies failure, making it seem like a definitive end. But when you view failure as a stepping stone, it becomes a part of your journey, not the conclusion of it. For instance, if you give a speech and stumble over your words, focus on the fact that you stood up and spoke at all. That's progress, and it's worth celebrating. Another powerful reason to celebrate progress is that it builds momentum. Fear thrives on inaction, but every small step forward weakens its grip. Each time you acknowledge your progress, you reinforce your belief in your ability to grow. It's like climbing a staircase. Every step gives you a clearer view of what's ahead and a stronger foundation to keep going. Consider how celebrating progress can apply to personal relationships. If you're working to overcome fear and expressing your feelings, progress might look like sharing a small vulnerability or speaking up in a difficult conversation. It might not go perfectly, but the fact that you took action is a victory in itself. It's also essential to recognize that progress doesn't always move in a straight line. Life is full of ups and downs, and fear often resurfaces when you least expect it. But even when you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still moving forward. Celebrate the effort, the learning, and the resilience it takes to keep going. To cultivate a mindset of celebrating progress, practice self-compassion. When you achieve a small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem, take a moment to acknowledge it. Maybe you overcame the fear of making a phone call or submitted an application despite your doubts. Reward yourself not necessarily with something material, but with the recognition that you're showing up for yourself in your growth. Finally, remember that progress builds confidence. Each small win chips away at fear and strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. Over time, these wins compound, creating a foundation of courage and resilience that empowers you to tackle even bigger challenges. Perfection is an illusion that keeps us trapped in fear. Progress is the reality that sets us free. Celebrate every step forward, every effort made, and every lesson learned. Because when you focus on progress, fear loses its power, and you gain the strength to move toward your goals with confidence and joy. Fear is an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to be a barrier. Instead, it can become a bridge, a path to growth, courage, and fulfillment. Handling fear isn't about eliminating it, it's about transforming your relationship with it. Acknowledge your fear by recognizing and naming your fear. You bring it out of the shadows and into the light. Awareness is the first step to taking control. See fear as an opportunity. Fear often signals that something meaningful is on the line. When you lean into it, you uncover opportunities for growth and success. Take small steps. Progress, no matter how small, is the antidote to fear. Break down your challenges into manageable actions and celebrate each step forward. Let fear teach you. Fear is a guide, pointing out areas where you can grow, adapt, or strengthen your resilience. Listen to its lessons. Celebrate progress, let go of perfection, and embrace progress. Each victory, no matter how small, builds the momentum and confidence to move forward. Fear doesn't define you. It's your actions in the face of fear that shape your destiny. The most rewarding parts of life are often found just beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone. Step into fear not as an enemy, but as a companion on your journey. When fear arises, remember it's not a stop sign, it's an invitation to rise. Face it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to propel yourself toward the life you're meant to live. You have the strength within you to overcome fear and transform it into a powerful force for good. The choice is yours. Embrace the challenge and take the first step today.